Leah gripped the armrest, her fingers white with tension. The bus was moving fast, too fast, barreling through a void of endless black. No streets, no stars, no sky. Just a tunnel of nothingness, as if reality had been peeled away. She tried her phone again. Still no signal. Still 13% battery. Still that same unease crawling down her spine. The bus interior was dim now, cast in that same bloody hue as before. Seats once empty were slowly filling up again, only this time, not with people, with shapes. The seats behind her creaked one by one as passengers emerged from the shadows. Some looked human, others didn't. Twisted limbs, missing eyes, faces frozen in screams. Some wore decades-old clothing. One had a melted Walkman clutched to their chest. Another, a flight attendant badge from an airline that hadn't existed since the 60s. Each one sat down silently and stared straight ahead. Leah forced herself to face forward. A cold draft slithered across her neck. Someone or something behind her whispered, "You shouldn't have boarded. You weren't called." She turned sharply, but no one moved. All eyes forward. Even the driver, still faceless, still inhuman, never looked back. Suddenly the bus jerked to a stop. The lights flickered. A foul smell oozed in through the vents, like burned meat and damp earth. A soft ding sounded overhead. Next stop, the Forgotten. The door hissed open. Leah craned her neck to see outside. A small dead town. No signs of life, no lights. Buildings covered in vines and rot. And standing there, waiting patiently, was a woman in a wedding dress, half her face missing, as though time had chewed it away. She stepped aboard. Everyone bowed their heads. Leah sat frozen as the woman glided past her, dress trailing rot and flies. She took a seat near the back, next to a withered man covered in stitched-together military uniforms. The door closed. The bus rolled forward again. Leah leaned toward the seat ahead, whispering, "Where is this bus taking us?" The man turned his head slightly. His skin looked old and waxy, like a doll left in the sun. "Where everyone goes eventually," he said. "Hell?" He chuckled softly. "Hell has structure. This is worse." "What is it then?" "The backlog," he whispered. "Where the forgotten go. The unclaimed, the missed connections, people lost between life and death." "That doesn't make sense. I'm alive. I just took a wrong bus." He leaned closer. "And that's what makes it worse for you." Suddenly, the bus hit something. It jolted violently. Passengers gasped. The lights went out. For a moment, everything was pitch black. Then, flickering back to life, the bus stopped in front of a mirror, an actual standing mirror right in the middle of the road. Everyone turned toward it. On the mirror's surface, Leah saw something that made her heart drop. It was her own apartment, her bedroom. The mirror didn't reflect the bus. It showed home, her bed, her nightstand, her jacket slung over a chair, and her body lying asleep. No, unmoving. "Is that me?" she whispered. The faceless driver finally spoke, but his voice wasn't his. It was her own voice, played backward. "You were dreaming when you boarded." Your heart stopped. For 1 minute and 13 seconds, Leah backed away. Number. I'm alive." Another ding. Next stop, regret. The mirror shattered. The bus turned down a dirt road now, winding through scenes from Leah's past projected on the windows. Her teenage self, alone at prom. The moment she ignored her mom's last call before the accident. The time she let her little brother cry in his room instead of checking on him. Every decision that ever carved pain into her life replayed in haunting detail. "No more!" she cried, squeezing her eyes shut. But the memories kept coming. Worse still, the other passengers started watching her past, too. A gaunt woman whispered, "Selfish." A child's voice, "Coward." Someone behind her giggled, "Murderer!" "I didn't kill anyone!" she screamed. No one responded, except the driver, again in her own distorted voice. "You killed your chance. And that's enough." Then the bus began to shake. From the floorboards, hands emerged, gray, veined, reaching, grabbing ankles, climbing the seats. One clawed hand latched onto Leah's leg. She kicked, screaming. Another grabbed her wrist. The passengers didn't move. They only watched. She screamed, clawing at the window, kicking, biting, punching the air. "Let me out! Please, I made a mistake!" And just when she thought she was about to be pulled under the floor, the bus screeched to a halt. Silence. The hands vanished. The lights returned to their dull red. The intercom crackled. Final stop. Choice. The doors opened. Outside, a strange hallway stretched forward, lined with hundreds of doors. Each one had a name carved on it. Leah stepped off. There, standing beside a single glowing door, was the girl with the notebook. "Why are you here?" Leah asked. The girl looked different now, her eyes clearer, wiser, older. "I chose not to return," she said. "I wasn't ready to live again. I had too many regrets, too much pain." Leah's voice cracked. "Do I get to choose now?" The girl nodded. "That door leads back, but only if you truly want it. You'll wake in your apartment, heart pounding. No memory, just a feeling that something changed. The others will stay." "What happens if I stay?" "You'll forget the pain eventually. You'll become one of them." A seat filled. Leah looked around. The hallway started to dim. The doors faded, one by one. She ran. At the glowing door, her hand trembled. Before she turned the handle, she asked, "Why me? Why did the bus let me on?" The girl smiled sadly. "Sometimes the dead don't pick the living. The living pick the dead." She vanished. Leah pushed the door open and was consumed by light. Gasp. Leah shot upright, air exploding into her lungs like a tidal wave. Her body trembled violently as if yanked back from the edge of something unfathomable. She was in her bed. The faint orange glow of sunrise bled through the blinds. Birds chirped in the distance. Her alarm buzzed quietly beside her. Normal, familiar, safe, but off. Her fingers dug into the bed sheets. They were damp with sweat. Her feet were ice cold. A bruise bloomed along her ankle, right where the hand had grabbed her on the bus. She stumbled to the bathroom mirror, looked at herself. Same face, same curls. But her eyes, something about them felt older, like she'd lived an extra lifetime overnight. She looked around the apartment, inspecting every corner. Nothing had changed, except the quiet. Not the peaceful kind, the kind that followed you like a shadow. Over the next few days, Leah tried to resume life. But things wouldn't go back to normal. She'd lose minutes, sometimes hours, without realizing it. Strangers on the street would glance at her and suddenly look away like they'd seen something they weren't supposed to. And worst of all, she began seeing things. At night, reflections in windows would flicker. She'd glimpse the bus, just for a second, rolling silently down an empty road that shouldn't be there. Lights glowing red. A single empty seat in the back. Heron one evening, after a particularly long shift at work, Leah sat on her couch scrolling through her phone. She stumbled on a local news headline. Mysterious disappearances along Route 87. Authorities baffled. Her heart stopped. That was her route. She clicked on it. Dozens of missing persons, all last seen near a stretch of highway. No wrecks, no bodies, no calls, no goodbyes. Every few years, a new case added to the growing list. People called it cursed. Locals whispered about an old city bus that sometimes appeared when fog covered the road. Most brushed it off as urban legend. Leah didn't. She clicked deeper, scrolling until she found an article from 2003. A girl named Mara Silvers had gone missing. Her picture? The same girl with the notebook, older, smiling, alive. Leah dropped her phone. The nightmares came back that night. She was on the bus again. Except this time it wasn't moving. It sat parked in the middle of her street. Inside, the seats were empty except one. The faceless driver waited silently, hands on the wheel. A whisper came from behind her. "You brought something back." She spun around. No one. Just her reflection in the bus's glass. Except the reflection didn't match. It was her face, but grinning. Smiling too wide, eyes too black, and in the reflection's hand was a ticket. The next morning, a bus transfer slip lay on her kitchen table. She hadn't brought it there? The time stamp, 3:13 a.m., the exact time she'd first boarded the midnight bus. If you're still here, still reading this, maybe you're lucky. Maybe you've never gotten on the wrong bus. Maybe you've never stood at the edge of nothing. But if you have, tell me in the comments. And if you're ever out late, and a bus pulls up with red lights and no number, don't get on. And if you liked the story, hit subscribe. Because next time, the story might just find you. A week later, Leah moved. She changed cities, started a new job, even dyed her hair. Fresh start, new life. But some nights, when the fog rolls in thick and low, and the street outside grows unnaturally quiet, she hears it. The low hum of a diesel engine, and the whisper of brakes screeching to a stop. She never opens the curtains. Not anymore. She knows what's waiting out there, and that it's not finished with her yet.